UDOT.com/free.
Uncertainty over tariffs after President Trump threatened to raise tariffs on European steel and aluminum imports next week, saying he could double the 25% current levies. And the trade war between the U.S. and China also ramping up again. ABC's Karen Travers has more from the White House.
This also comes as the administration is trying to push trade negotiations with countries all around the world. And his team is saying he might even have a call this week with the Chinese president to try and talk about trade talks there, as the president's accusing China of reneging on their commitment made a couple weeks ago when he dropped the tariffs on Chinese imports.
At least 30 people were killed and dozens of others injured near a food distribution site in Gaza. The UN now calling for an independent investigation. ABC's Ian Pannell says witnesses and officials in Gaza say Israeli forces fired. The IDF denies the claims.
You have this disparity between the two explanations. From the IDF, drone footage is being supplied, apparently showing gunmen opening fire on the crowd. But we've looked at this, and it turns out that this drone footage is not from the same area. So I think there are many questions remaining, and that's why the United Nations has called for an independent investigation. But clearly, for many people who are not just hungry, but also scared, this raises serious questions about how safe it is just to go and get some bread to feed your family.
In New York City, testimony wrapped up for the day in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs, his former personal assistant, back on the stand today. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry. Terry! Terry! Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
4:05 now on this first work week of May. I'm Will Feel-Right with your KVNU News headlines, brought to you this hour by Firehouse Subs. And Logan City officials are once again reminding residents what they can and cannot put in their recycling bins. Now, the Logan Environmental Department stressing that the year-round recycling program benefits everyone by saving money, and that something as simple as making sure that only recyclables end up in the city's blue bins can have a big impact. Now, the Environmental Department noted that proper sorting and disposal of recyclables also helps conserve resources, extends the life of the city landfill, and also decreases pollution. Now, the Environmental Department reminded residents that they can recycle any and all kinds of paper, plus also lightly rinsed metal cans and plastic bottles and jugs. Now, things that cannot be recycled include plastic bags, glass of any kind, liquids, food or green waste, paper cartons for liquids, and also colored plastic bottle or jugs and styrofoam containers. Well, a 14-year-old girl was hospitalized after a family member accidentally ran over her foot during a parade. This happened in Eagle Mountain. The teenager was walking alongside the vehicle that was being driven by a family member when her foot got caught under the tire. Now, a deputy with the Utah County Sheriff's Office said that her lower leg was run over. She was transported to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Meanwhile, a citizen ballot initiative could significantly change how people get health care coverage in the state if it can clear some big hurdles to get on the ballot next year. Now, the citizen initiative was quietly filed with the Lieutenant Governor's office last month, and it would basically create a single-payer system in the state. Now, Dr. Joe Jarvis, a physician, said that it would cover out-of-pocket expenses. The Utah CARES Act seeks to take the Public Employee Health Program, which is currently being offered to state employees, and expand it to everyone through a state-financed and regulated universal cooperative. Now, the proposed citizen ballot initiative would impose a tax on businesses to help cover the Utah CARES Act, which could be as much as 2.85%. So far, the initiative has been rejected by state officials, at least on the grounds of fiscal impact. And the Idaho State Police and the Idaho Transportation Department is urging drivers to make safe and sober choices behind the wheel following confirmation that at-fault driver in that recent fatal crash along Highway 20 up near Yellowstone had a blood alcohol level more than twice the state's legal limit. Now, the May 1st crash was on the main corridor to Yellowstone National Park, which claimed the lives of 7 people, and it occurred just prior to the 100 deadliest days in Idaho, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, when traffic fatalities typically increase. Now, ISP Captain Chris Wiedek said that the tragedy should be a wake-up call, as nobody plans to cause a crash to take the life, and then when they get behind the wheel, but choices have consequences. He said that impaired driving isn't just illegal, it is deadly. Now, alcohol-related crashes remain one of the leading causes of tragic traffic deaths in Idaho. Well, we've had a few clouds today, but otherwise a little nicer weather, as temperatures only been in the mid-70s today. Now, tonight we'll drop into the mid-40s, be back into the low 70s tomorrow, mid-70s coming for Wednesday. It's Thursday into Friday when we'll get back up near 80, and then it looks like we'll see mid to low 80s for the weekend. Could see another chance of some thunderstorm activity possibly on Friday. And congratulations to our latest Above and Beyond Salute winner, Matt Pierce, a longtime officer with the Logan City Police Department, was our Friday winner from Firehouse Subs. We gave him a $40 gift card as a way of saying thank you for his years of service, not only with the Logan City Police Department, but he also helps with security at Intermountain Logan Regional Hospital. And I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News headlines. Another check of local news coming up at the bottom of the hour.
Today's hearing aid technology can improve not only your life, but the lives of the people who care about you. Once again, you'll be able to hear the reason for their laughter and understand conversations. Dr. Paul Danes will customize a hearing improvement program to meet your unique requirements, whatever they are. Call Dr. Danes for an appointment at 753-HERE and let him show you how.
Bring back what you've been missing. Bring back Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
When the economy slows down, smart businesses in Cache Valley don't disappear. They get ahead. History shows companies that keep advertising during downturns grow faster when things turn around. And when others go quiet, your message stands out. Cache Valley Media Group gives you the tools, from radio to digital, to stay visible, stay relevant, and drive results. Don't pause your brand. Power it forward with Cache Valley Media Group. Cache Valley Media Group. Local reach, real results.
KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Monday, June 2nd. I'm Jason Williams. Thank you for tuning in. 72 degrees here at the Radio Ranch. 4:11 in the afternoon. Got a lot to talk about today. I'm looking at my inbox here, and it is construction notice. A lot of press releases from local cities, the county, the state, UDOT, on orange cone season officially getting underway. It actually started several weeks ago as the weather allowed for an early start on a lot of these construction projects. But one big one that is kicking off on Monday, you're going to want to remain aware of. This is lengthy reconstruction of 200 North, right outside the station here, running from basically the LW's truck stop and Maverick there on the corner of 10th West, all the way up to Main Street. Now, this is a stretch of road that's been under some pretty extensive construction already this year. replacing some sewer lines and gas lines, digging up the side of the road there. And you may have noticed if you've driven the road, there's some temporary asphalt patching that's been put in place there on the shoulders and at some of the intersections. That will all be gone after a complete strip down and repaving of 200 North takes place, but it is going to be an extensive and somewhat long project. So everything you need to know, including some comments we got from Public Works, one of the busiest people in Logan City right now. Public Works Manager Sam Odd joined us alongside Logan City Mayor Holly Daines a couple of weeks ago, and he kind of explained how this project would work. So that's coming up later on in the show. Trump's big, beautiful bill, as he refers to it. This is a gigantic, well, I mean, it's a tax bill. It's a spending bill. It's all spending bills are also a list of priorities, basically. And both Senator Mike Lee and Senator John Curtis have a bunch of different things they say would need to change about this bill sent over to them from the House. It did pass the House by one vote, actually, and it made its way to the Senate. Senator John Curtis and Senator Mike Lee both are saying they have a list that they couldn't support the bill in its current form, and they have a list of changes they would need to see to get behind it. But their lists are very, very different, and this is a bill that does some pretty significant things. Some extensive cuts to programs like SNAP, the largest cut to Medicaid, the Medicaid program in history, and it is currently a 1,100-page mega bill. It advances what Republicans say is President Donald Trump's agenda, and the negotiations over this in the House, if you were following this, were grueling. It looked for a while. The goal was to get this passed by Memorial Day, and they did, again, by one vote. But there was some time the week ahead of Memorial Day where it looked like this thing was going to implode as the Freedom Works Caucus and more moderate Republicans could not come to agreement on this massive budget framework. So the goal now is that Republicans will pass it in the Senate and have it to the president's desk for signature by the 4th of July, or before, rather, the 4th of July. But again, a lot of Republican senators, including Senators Mike Lee and John Curtis from here in Utah, say they are unsure about the bill's future because they don't like it for very different reasons, both of them, in its current form as sent over from the House. So we'll break down exactly what they would like to see different in this, and the Deseret News has a great write-up in their independent comments. You can see their words for themselves. Most of them posted on their X accounts and Facebook pages, but a statement from both senators also appears on their official Senate sites. And we'll read through those and kind of list the changes that both Senators Curtis and Lee would like to see before they say they could support the bill. So it's Pride Month, kicked off June 1st. I don't have anything to say about this other than some members of Utah's legislature need to find better hobbies. Specifically, Representative Trevor Lee. I don't know why people pay attention to this stuff. If it's not interesting to you, if it doesn't apply to you, if it's not something you plan to be a part of, move on. But State Representative Trevor Lee, over the weekend, in what began as pride and inclusive messaging posts on X, Twitter, by the Utah Jazz and Utah Mammoth, our new hockey team, both of them posting versions of their logos with the rainbow pride colors and then, words of inclusivity. And this was kind of a nationwide coordinated campaign. Professional sports teams all across the country were posting yesterday a message basically saying sports are for everyone. And Utah State Representative Trevor Lee from the Davis County area lost it and promised that in the upcoming legislative session there would be, quote, significant legislation to put an end to this. and he had screenshots of these professional sports teams' tweets. And let me first say, there is nothing more opposite of conservative small government than a bill that I assume would say something along the lines of, here's what is allowed in Utah for professional sports teams to tweet. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, well, I do know he was just angry. But honestly, if you're getting angry about this, if this triggers you, that's a you problem. Your personal beliefs aren't in question here. No one is asking you, me, anyone to change what they believe when it comes to the LGBTQ community or public policy, or the fact that June is Pride Month because it's a celebration of the Stonewall riots that happened in June in the 70s. If this is not applicable to you, if it's not interesting to you, or if it bothers you, just go do something else. This hurts no one. It is like anything, a historical celebration, and no one is obligated to participate in any historical celebration. And I don't get the anger from it's just a handful of Utah representatives that this month, the month of June, just triggers them. And I really want to send them the message that they should just go read a book, go outside, make friends, whatever it is you can do with your time other than rage tweeting because the Jazz posted a version of their logo with the rainbow pride colors. If that upsets you and you're going to lose sleep over that, that's a you problem. So there's my pride message. Again, it isn't for everybody. It's not intended to be for everybody, and no one is forcing you to partake or forcing me to partake. It shouldn't bother anyone. Apply this to a different scenario. There is also a big event throughout the month of May for military veterans and service members. In fact, May is Military Service Member Month in the United States. And there were, I think, 7 different events in Salt Lake City centered around this. It doesn't get as much attention because you don't have a bunch of people getting so upset about it, but it happens. Now, imagine someone being triggered by that. Imagine someone being so upset they're rage tweeting because military veterans get a month where military history is explored, where the purpose and significance of military service is explored. That should bother no one. You know, I know some folks that are as militantly pacifist as you could get, and they find the whole idea of military in general, because the military is of course there to go to war. The whole point, that whole concept is offensive to them for religious reasons. But you know what they do during May, during Military Service Member Month? They do other things. They go to different things. They think about other things. I have never heard one of them, even though this is a very strong religious conviction of theirs. If you've ever met a Quaker, for example, talk to them about this. The entire concept of a national military is offensive to them for spiritual reasons. But they don't rage tweet about Military Service Members Month. They go do other things. And I think these Utah lawmakers that are so upset that Pride Month kicked off yesterday with some tweets from our professional sports teams should do the same. They should find something else to do with their time. So there's my Pride celebration message for everyone. Moving on, again, Senators Mike Lee and Senator Curtis have a very different list of demands for the big, beautiful bill before they say they can support it. We'll get to that later on in the show. On the other side, an update. Again, 2nd West, 200 North, 200 North, 2nd North, here in front of the station, is about to undergo a massive facelift. And this is going to be a lengthy project. And it's going to be one of several that greatly impact traffic in Cache Valley. I think this is one of the busiest roads in the valley at least twice a day, morning and afternoon. And it is going to be tough. And we're going to be affected by it here. In fact, I'm thinking there are some days where I'm going to be worried I can't get out of the parking lot when the show's over. We'll see. But what it's all about and what you can expect in the timeline of this massive rebuilding of 200 North that is about to get underway next week, that's coming up right after this here on KVNU's For the People.
This is Dr. Red, chiropractic physician with Red River Health and Wellness. Are you suffering with fatigue, brain fog, headaches, intestinal issues, weight gain, and you haven't been able to find any answers?
Before I started at Red River, I was having a lot of stomach pain. I was overweight, severe anxiety, some depression. I had been to multiple doctors. I'd been to specialists. We had done tests, and no one could find anything that was wrong.
Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
I'm on anxiety medicine. I've lowered my dose, and I'm working with my doctor to continue to lower it. I'm sleeping through the night. I have energy for my kids. I've lost 30 pounds. I just feel really good.
Our goal is to teach you and educate you so you know how to manage your condition a lot more effectively, and you know what to do and what not to do for the rest of your life.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
First impressions are usually the most striking, which is why your landscape should leave a lasting impression. But the right landscape can be tough to create, unless you know the right people. Only Canyon Landscaping knows what it takes to make a property stand out. Their goal is simple, to ensure total client satisfaction through the highest quality landscape. And right now is the perfect time to install or upgrade your landscape. Call Canyon Landscaping at 752-3838. That's 752-3838. Canyon Landscaping. Look for the leaf.
Hey, Cache Valley, this is Clay with Canyon Plumbing and Heating. In 2005, I started this company to serve a great community, my way. Over the years, I've loved the opportunity to be able to get to know so many people in my hometown. To come into your home to take care of your plumbing and heating problems, being there when you're needed us the most, and using our skills to take care of the things that cause you stress. Over the last 20 years, with the help of this amazing community, we've grown Canyon Plumbing and now have an awesome team of technicians to serve your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs. Call us at 435-881-6952.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. A comment from a listener during the break, and this is worth pausing a bit and going back to our opening topic here. My opening topic, for those just turning in, I'm saying Pride Day kicked off yesterday. A handful of Utah lawmakers lost their ever-loving minds when the Utah Jazz and Utah Mammoth, the hockey team, tweeted out their logos with pride colors and inclusive messages. And my response to the lawmakers losing their minds is, go do something else. You don't have to support Pride. You don't have to like Pride. You don't have to be a part of the Pride Month in any way. No one's forcing you. Same goes for Military Service Members Month or Black History Month or Women's Month, Women's History Month. This you're not obligated to be a part of any of these. And if they bother you, just to go do something else. It's a much healthier way to go about life, trust me. But Representative Trevor Lee was very triggered by this, and he's threatening legislation in the upcoming session in 2026 to put a stop to this, referencing these professional sports teams tweeting about Pride Day in support. Let me tell you, if Utah had a rule that said you can't be a professional sports team here unless the legislature can dictate to you what you celebrate, what you tweet about, what special events you have, the professional sports teams are not going to come here or stay here. But plus, it's the opposite of conservative small government. Opposite. That said, a listener during the break said the dynamics change when taxpayer dollars are involved. I agree, though I also kind of think that's last year there was a big to-do in Salt Lake because there was a UTA bus that was going to be wrapped in Pride colors, and UTA is taxpayer funded. Well, the wrap itself was donated by a nonprofit. Taxpayers didn't pay for that, but people were upset that the Pride colors were going to go on this bus for the month of June. Again, same reaction from me. Go do something else. You need a hobby. But I get it a little bit more where that's taxpayer funded. I still think it was a silly overreaction, and I don't understand how a bus in pride colors in any way takes from you. But again, I get it. It's taxpayer funded public transit system. It's different. So listeners saying, taxpayer dollars are, and don't get me wrong, taxpayer dollars very much are involved in the professional sports here in Utah. Drawing in a Major League Baseball team is on the agenda. Getting the hockey team, the Utah Mammoth, now they're called, after being called the Utah Hockey Club for a year. The Jazz, too. Taxpayers incentivize drawing them in with tax package deals and promises. We also greatly incentivize stadiums in general, and that's the easiest thing to point to. And don't get me wrong, I find that offensive. Stadiums are themselves are great economic investments, because if you have a location and a professional sports team that plays there on the regular, that draws in a lot of economic activity to that particular downtown and arguably the state with the ripple effect. So you can very credibly make the argument that it's a worthwhile taxpayer investment, but you can't pretend it isn't at least somewhat distasteful for taxpayers to fund in even a small part, and usually it's a large part, stadiums for wealthy professional team owners. No offense to Ryan Smith, but he's got a boatload of money, and he's surrounded by other boatloads of money. And I guarantee you could build a new stadium just by him calling a few friends and saying, hey, who wants to go in on a stadium, and we'll put your name on it. Taxpayers don't need to be involved at all. I guarantee that could happen. But it's a lot easier to go to the legislature and say, hey, how about, a 10-year tax cut if we bring a professional hockey team in? And that's exactly what happened. It's distasteful. I don't like it. That said, we do it. For better or worse, we do it. And just because taxpayers are on the hook for that because of the legislature's decision still doesn't mean that the legislature should be intimately involved in running the professional sports team's Twitter account so that they don't get mad when they see a pride tweet. I would much prefer that legislators just go do something else. There has to be something more productive to be concerned about than whether the Jazz tweeted Happy Pride Day yesterday. I get it, though. We could do a whole show on the taxpayer funding. Go read about the gigantic multi-year battle over a new stadium in Vegas and how much taxpayers got raked over the coals for that. Horrible deal for taxpayers. There's actually a great op-ed right now. It was posted yesterday in the Salt Lake Tribune by Benjamin Applebaum from the New York Times. This was in the Salt Lake Tribune, published yesterday, and it's literally titled "Sports Stadiums Are Monuments to the Poverty of Our Own Ambitions." Subtitle is "An Economy is Money in Motion. A Stadium is a Big Cement Bowl Where Most Days Nothing Happens." And his argument is that he's not opposed to economic incentives with taxpayer dollars. What he's opposed to is the fact that we aren't getting more creative, that the best thing we can often think of is a big, gigantic stadium that 9 days out of 10 is just sitting there, taking up a lot of space. And it's a great argument, actually. That said, again, the economic impact of a professional sports team, NBA, the hockey team, if we get a Major League Baseball team in, the economic impact is huge. And lawmakers aren't completely up in the night when they argue that these tax cuts they offer to entice them in and get them to stay, taxpayers funding the bill for that. They argue, the return is 3 or 4 times what is spent. Usually they can back that up on paper. Philosophically, I'm opposed to it, but you break it down by numbers, and it is an investment. I'm with Benjamin Applebaum. I think we could get more creative on where to spend those economic development dollars at taxpayer expense than just stadiums, and that seems to be the low-hanging fruit. And like I say, it's what we do, for better or worse. And I don't think in any way that should mean that the legislature should be directly involved in running the communication team for the Utah Jazz or the Utah Mammoth. In fact, I think that would be a nightmare. So All right. On the other side, an update on what's coming starting next Monday for 200 North. This is a heavily traveled road, probably one of the busiest roads in the valley, morning and afternoon for those daily commutes to and from work. And it is about to undergo a massive facelift. What you need to know and when you should avoid this road. All of that coming up after these headlines with KVNU's Will Feel Right.
Thank you, Jason. An 18-year-old Pocatello man died after jumping into the Bear River over the weekend and failing to resurface, according to law enforcement. The drowning was reported Saturday afternoon just before 2 o'clock at the Last Chance Flume that's just north of Grace. Now, according to the Caribou County Sheriff's Office, Cameron Bowers was with a group of friends when he jumped into the Bear River from the flume. Witnesses at the scene told deputies that he went underwater and never surfaced. Now, the Caribou County Sheriff's Office, along with EMTs, all responded to the scene, along with the Bear Lake County Sheriff's Office that brought their dive team. About 8:30 Saturday night, the victim's body was located. The Caribou County Coroner's Office later released the name of the drowning victim after family members had been notified. Now, the Last Chance Lane was closed for about 6 hours while the search operation was underway. In a statement from the Sheriff's Office, deputies said, "Our condolences go out to the family and friends of the victim during this difficult time." Meanwhile, crews conducted a number of multi-rescues in southern Utah this past weekend in Snow Canyon State Park. Now, one rescue took several hours and required a high-angle rope rescue team. Now, Santa Clara, Ivins Fire and Rescue, and Washington County Sheriff's Search and Rescue all worked together to rescue two people who were recreating in the Snow Canyon State Park on Saturday. One hiker was rescued after they ran out of water, leading to a heat-related emergency due to the triple-digit temperatures. Now, the other rescue was more technical, as a high-angle rope rescue team extricated the person out of the lava tube cave. Officials said the patient was lifted about 100 yards to safety, where paramedics then treated them. And traditionally, caregivers can find support through various means, including respite care, training programs, and resources that are offered by organizations like Logan Sunshine Terrace. Now, their Caregiver 101 workshop began today, and it's being led by Dennis Wildman, and it is scheduled to continue to take place each Monday through the month of June. Now, being a family caregiver is rewarding but can be challenging work, and the seminar is allowing you to find tools to equip yourself to provide better care for those that you love. Now, you can get more information about their Caregiver 101 workshop by visiting Sunshine Terrace. And that South Jordan teenager who went missing back in April was found safe last night in Colorado Springs, 6 weeks after she disappeared. Sergeant Sean Becker confirmed late last night that 15-year-old Lisa Petrov had been found. He said that she had turned herself into the Colorado Springs Police Department earlier in the evening. Officials reported the girl was well, safe, and in good health. There's no word on how she got there or if she had been held against her will. The teenager had been missing since April 21st and hadn't been heard from since she was seen on security video leaving the train platform in Provo. Well, we've had a few clouds today, but otherwise temperatures staying in the low, right around the mid-70s today. And now tonight we'll drop into the mid-40s, be back into the low 70s for tomorrow. Looks like through most of this week, temperature is going to stay right around the mid-70s. As we get towards Thursday and into Friday, get close to 80, and then mid-80s coming for Saturday and Sunday. Slight chance we could see some showers and thunderstorms activity coming up Friday afternoon. And Napa Auto Parts bringing you weather as part of the news. They can help get your machines moving with the parts and oil that you need from Napa. Brands like Schaefer's, Amsoil, Mobil, Valvoline, Chevron, and Royal Purple, all at their 5 locally owned locations from Preston to Providence. It's Napa Auto Parts. And I'm Will Theorite with your KVNU News headlines.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. In Boulder, Colorado, charges formally filed against the suspect in the flamethrower attack Sunday. Police say targeting a Jewish group holding a rally supporting the release of Hamas-held hostages in Gaza. Mohammed Solomon facing 16 attempted murder charges along with a federal hate crime count. Boulder District Attorney Michael Doherty says the charges send a message.
What you see here today is us standing shoulder to shoulder ensuring that justice is done in response to this tragic and terrible attack. We stand united in denouncing hate, terror, and violence in this community.
2 victims remain in critical condition from the attack. Homeland Security says Solomon overstayed his tourist visa and then applied for asylum in 2022 and was granted a work visa under the Biden administration. That work visa expired March 28th of this year under the Trump administration. This is ABC News.
Make laundry a snap with the large load washers and dryers at Mount Logan Laundry. Rather than 8 to 10 loads at home, get the job done in 1 or 2 with their 55 or 80-pound washers and 80-pound dryers that are perfect for sleeping bags, comforters, and other big items. Mount Logan Laundry has free Wi-Fi and drop-off service, plus they're open until midnight. Mount Logan Laundry really is
I'm learning to say y'all.
Find them at 5th East and 9th North in Logan or in Brigham City on the corner of 1st East and 7th South.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Major market indexes were mixed in Monday trading as trade tensions continue between the U.S. and China. The Dow closed 35 points up after an afternoon rally recovered morning losses. The S&P 500 rose 24 points and the Nasdaq climbed 129 points. Shares of domestic steel makers Nucor and Steel Dynamics got a boost from President Trump's announcement over the weekend of a 50% tariff on steel imports. Lyra Therapeutics was up more than 400% after the pharmaceutical company reported positive test results for an implantable treatment for chronic sinus infection. China's trade ministry responded to the White House moves to block export of chips used in artificial intelligence and revoke student visas. The ministry says the Trump administration is violating the consensus reached at trade talks in Geneva last month. The White House has accused China of not fulfilling its side of that agreement. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Even if a family member has or had dementia, it doesn't mean you will. Dementia affects the brain and your ability to perform daily activities. Lifelong learning will keep your brain healthy and can reduce your risk of dementia. Engage your brain through hobbies and learning new things. For more brain health tips, visit dementia.utah.gov. This message is brought to you by the Utah Alzheimer's Association and Alzheimer's Disease and Related Dementias Coordinating Council.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Welcome back to KVA News for the People. Orange cone season, as it's called, is officially underway. It actually started a couple of months ago here in Cache Valley. But it is really getting underway. We spoke about this a few weeks ago with Logan City Mayor Holly Daines, and from Public Works, Sam Odd joining us in the studio as well that day. So 200 North, SR 30, has been under construction for quite some time. It was a project originally. Sam Odd, again, Public Works Program Manager, told us to replace sewer and gas lines. And you see, as you drive 2nd North from about 6th West to Main Street, some temporary asphalt that's been put down where they had to dig on the shoulders and in a couple of intersections there to do those gas lines. That project is now done and the road's fully open. But Monday, that morning, that is changing. And it is changing pretty much for the summer. So we're going to spend some time on this one because this is I would guess twice a day, morning and afternoon. This is one of the most crowded roads in Cache Valley. And this project getting underway Monday will run from 10th West, between basically the intersection of the Chevron and the Maverick there at 10th West, and up 200 North, SR 30, all the way to Main Street. It's going to start Monday, and it's going to go, weather permitting and schedule staying on, everything going well, so the schedule stays as planned. It will go until mid-August, so pretty much the entire summer. 200 North is going to be under construction. So, here in the studio with us a couple of weeks ago, we brought this up with Public Works Program Manager Sam Odd. And here's what he had to say. First off, thanking the public for their patience with all of this and the construction project that just wrapped on 200 North and the one that's about to get underway, which is even bigger. Here's what Sam had to say.
even though it is inconvenient, we recognize that. And we're so grateful for our residents and Valley residents that are patient with us during this orange cone season. Jason, the project you were talking about was one I wanted to bring up. The sewer lining, sewer rehabilitation is what we're calling it. We have some pretty old infrastructure here in Logan, and our sewer mains under 200 North between Main Street and 6th West are not in great shape. And so we took this opportunity to rehabilitate them. We pulled, it's called sewer lining or trenchless repair, where we're basically able to pull a new malleable soft pipe through the old pipe, and then you blow it up with air and it cures hard, and you have a new sewer pipe inside your old sewer pipe.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah. And very, very...
Considering the cost of the old way of doing it.
And it's so much less impactful, right? We can do it so much quicker. The reason we wanted to get that done is UDOT is coming in later this summer and actually repaving and rebuilding 200 North between Main Street and 6th West. So we wanted to make sure that we had good sewer pipe under that road before they put down new asphalt.
Sure.
So unfortunately, the orange cones aren't going to disappear on 200 North right there. But our sewer project is mostly wrapped up. There's still little touch-ups they've got to do on that portion of the road. But the same project, and the crews have now moved to 400 North, and they're working between Main Street and 700 East, doing the exact same thing, pulling in new sewer pipe. There's a couple spots that they have to dig up. The pipe was in such bad condition we couldn't get the new pipe to get pulled through.
Oh, really?
So they've got to dig up a little bit of the road and put in new pipe. But hopefully, right now, our schedule is that by the end of June, the major impacts from that will be wrapped up, and they'll be doing finishing touches through July.
And that has, on 200 North at least, since that conversation with Sam, wrapped up. But Monday, the big project begins. So here's what you need to know, because this is one to take very seriously. If you use SR 30 200 North, and I know thousands of people do every morning and night, commuting to work, and also a lot of weekend recreation out there. So you have all of SR 30 out to roughly the Mendon Junction is under construction as well, and that's going to be going on, every summer, multiple years until that project is finished. I think they have, I believe it's 2 more years. It might be 3. But so that's a big project that's going to be a while still. But Monday morning, June 9th, UDOT will officially begin the 10th West to Main Street portion of the SR 30 project. And this is a big one because this involves everything from shoulder closures and lane shifts to multiple day full road closures. And again, this is 10th West all the way east to Main Street on 200 North, SR 30. So Monday morning, crews will begin, and I was told, I reached out for additional details, and UDOT spokesperson told me that the Monday morning impact is probably going to be minimal. They're just going to sort of be setting up and beginning some early marking and things like that. But they asked the drivers slow because they are going to have a lot of folks out on 200 North from 10th West to Main Street again throughout the day, again as early as Monday morning. And that project will continue with crews working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. until mid-August. That's the current schedule. So weather allowing, they'll have this wrapped up mid-August. But this is a complete resurfacing of 200 North, SR 30, from 10th West, again, all the way east to Main Street. So down here at the corner, just down from us here at the Radio Ranch, between the Chevron and the Maverick, all the way up to where 200 North SR 30 meets Main Street by the historic courthouse. So that is all going to be under construction almost the entire summer, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day. Here's what it includes, some of the details we got from UDOT. So they reached out to us today here at the station. Earlier today, they contacted us to say, hey, there's going to be some impact, and some of the repairing of asphalt and the removal of old asphalt, striping, road signs, all of that, new sidewalk ramps in portions of the road and more. Your parking lot could be impacted. So there are going to be times of day where you might wait a bit to get in and out of the radio station there. So hopefully that doesn't mean there's dead air here on the show any afternoon at 4. But 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, from Monday morning, June 9th, until mid-August. Here's what you can expect, according to UDOT. Shoulder closures, lane shifts, and temporary side street closures. So some temporary closures of the connecting streets from 6th West up to Main Street. The project itself will run from 10th West up to Main Street. They're telling drivers, UDOT is saying, if you're traveling SR 30, 200 North, when you hit 10th West, if you're coming into the valley, all the way up to Main Street, you can expect throughout the summer up to 10 minutes of delay at various points along this project from 10th West to Main Street. There is one 3-day closure. That's going to be significant. That won't run from 10th West. That will only run from 6th West. So 600 West up to Main Street, at 600 West, not up to Main Street. Correction there. So the intersection roughly of 600 West and a bit to the east and west of that intersection, there will be a 3-day full closure of that intersection. So let me say that again. The 200 North intersection at 6th West, sometime, there's no specific date on this because it depends on when they get to it, but if everything stays on schedule, this will roughly be mid-July. There will be a 3-day full closure of the 600 West, 200 North intersection just east of the radio station here. So that's a full closure of the intersection for 3 days. That's because they do have to do some paving work to meet the railroad guidelines. There are those tracks there. So some of the paving they'll have to do and some of the rearranging they'll have to do to meet the railroad's own rules on paving near a railroad. They're going to close that intersection entirely for 3 days mid-July. So again, UDOT says from 10th West to Main Street on 200 North, you can expect up to 10-minute traffic delays throughout the summer. And they apologize to residents as well. They said they're very blunt about this. They said there is going to be significantly increased noise, dust, vibration during work hours. And they know that it's basically houses from 6th West up to Main Street. So a lot of Logan residents are going to be negatively impacted by that. And so spokesman said, issue an apology in advance for us on that. It is going to be noisy. It is going to be dusty. And it is going to take more than 2 months to get this project done. And so, so that's the message. And again, just to run through everything again, so everyone knows, this starts Monday morning, June 9th, from 10th West to Main Street. SR 30, 200 North in Logan will be under construction, and that construction will run from Monday morning until mid-August. Fingers crossed everything goes well. The work will be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, and throughout the summer on 200 North, you can expect shoulder closures, lane shifts, temporary side street closures, travel delays up to 10 minutes throughout the entire project, so from 10th West to Main Street. And most significantly, that one scheduled for roughly mid-July, no exact date again because it depends on when they get to that part of the project, but mid-July-ish, there's going to be one 3-day closure at the 6th West intersection. So 200 North and 6th West, a busy, busy intersection every day. And that intersection is going to be entirely closed for 3 days as they do some paving activity near the railroad. And again, that will be roughly in mid-July. And again, all this work is Monday through Friday. No weekend work here. And once more, UDOT spokesperson said, heads up to residents who live along 200 North, increased noise, increased inconvenience getting in and out of your driveway, dust, vibration from machinery during working hours. There's no way to sugarcoat it, she told me. This is going to be inconvenient for those residents, and again, for such a lengthy period of time. But it's the only way to get the project done, and mid-August it will be done, and a completely new surface, new striping, and some new options at some of the intersections as well, I'm told, and better signage. That's one of the goals they're looking for as well, recognizing that 200 North during the school year is also a heavy trafficked section of road for pedestrians, both sidewalks heading east-west, but also a lot of pedestrian cross traffic across a couple of streets there, school kids crossing the road there in the middle of the afternoon sometimes. So they're going to take some steps for that. They're also going to bring all of the sidewalk ramps up to current ADA standards. There are a few old ones there that still have a drop. Repairing some soft spots in the road under the surface before resurfacing. And then, of course, the biggest... So I asked what was the lengthiest portion of this project, and it's actually the first part, removing the top layer of asphalt. That's going to sort of take the longest, and she couldn't say exactly when they would start that, but she believed that the project details about a week's worth of work starting Monday, June 9th, of just prepping for that. So starting Monday, June 9th, you're going to start to see some closures, some lane shifts, temporary side street closures, and more as they prep. And then once that removal of the top layer of asphalt gets underway, portions of that road are going to be, I would guess, nearly impassable a lot of times of day. So long story short, between Monday morning and mid-August, if you're coming into the valley, if you can make a left or a right at the 10th West intersection, you're going to save yourself a lot of time rather than trying to go up 200 North to Main Street. And SR 30, again, under construction, basically from the Mendon Junction and starting Monday all the way to Main Street, Logan. So it's going to be nice when this is all done, really. That 200 North from, at least, so I drive the stretch from the station here up to Main Street almost every day. And it's pretty rough along there. There's some sinks and some bumps and some dips. And it's been a while since they resurfaced that. But again, this is all part of a larger project. Once SR 30 is finished all the way out through, what we know as Valley View Highway area, this is going to be something that gets traffic flowing a lot more smoothly and a lot more safely. And check out some of the numbers. So I posted these on our Facebook page, a link to them from UDOT, but some of the traffic numbers, the too long didn't read on this is traffic on 200 North from Logan Main Street all the way out to Mendon. According to UDOT's own traffic capture devices, has nearly tripled in the last 20 years. So, yeah, it's probably a long overdue project. Some of those wider areas along SR 30 out west of us, that's going to be nice, especially in the wintertime. And going to be pretty inconvenient until then, though. So, once again, starting Monday, this coming Monday, June 9th, UDOT will begin the SR 30 200 North resurfacing project that will run from 10th West, the intersection of Maverick and Chevron at 10th West and 200 North, and that project will run all the way up to Main Street, Logan, throughout the summer until mid-August. Resurfacing project. And one more time, it's going to include rolling closures, shoulder closures, lane shifts, temporary side street closures, increased noise and dust, obviously. 1 3-day closure. Mid-July is when they're thinking they'll get to that, of the 600 West intersection on 200 North. And again, pretty massive project. It will run Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And spread the word, because I think everyone in the valley drives this road probably at least once a day, if not once, or once a week, if not once a day. And it's going to be ugly. So, and then just when this wraps up, by the way, they'll start the construction project down near the Y, which is going to lead to some multiple day full closures of Main Street down there as well. So it'd be nice when this is all done, but this is going to be a really unique summer for construction impact because of these projects, big ones. Check it out. I've posted a link and a screenshot on our Facebook page. You can read more and even contact UDOT if you're a resident along 200 North and you have some questions or concerns, or there are even some special accommodations you might need for certain days. They can let you know more details on the schedule, and you can contact them at UDOT Region 1, that's the number 1, UDOT Region 1 at utah.gov, or call their hotline, 877-495-4240. We'll be back right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning wants to help Cache Valley feel the love. Mountain Valley Heating and Air is giving away 5 fully installed heating and air conditioning units free of charge. Go to mountainvalleyhvac.com and help make a difference one home at a time. That's mtnvalleyhvac.com. Nominate prior to September 1st, 2025. See website for all details.
Spring. It's time to get those old rusted vehicles moved. Call DD Auto and Salvage and get paid for moving that old rusted out junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it easy and fast, paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived in Philadelphia. Local time is 3:05 p.m. and the temperature is 67 degrees. At this time, you are now free to use your cellular devices.
You know that feeling when you get to turn your phone on after the plane lands? You can have that feeling every time you drive. Make sure your cell phone is stowed away whenever you are behind the wheel.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, looking at the aftermath of some major operations to do interior immigration enforcement. What's next for the Trump administration, and what are the courts doing trying to slow this thing down? We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll be joined by our friend Ryan Grodusky of the Clay and Buck Podcast Network on Trump's numbers going into month 6.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
That's it for hour 1 of today's show, but stick around. Coming up in hour 2, how Senators Curtis and Lee both want to influence Trump's big, beautiful bill. This is a massive budget bill sitting in the Senate now after passing the House by 1 vote. Both Lee and Curtis say they can't support the bill in its current form, but for different reasons. We'll talk about it. And USU Athletics setting a record for cumulative GPA for their 360 student athletes. How they did it and what it means. That's coming up next here on